Okay, now what I want to do here is I want to bring up, now keep in mind any of these tools here you can get also under the window if that's too confusing for you. So I want to bring up my layers palette. Now the layers palette is this palette right here, so I can click and that's the layers palette. Now here's how this works, and here's to make a better user out of you. Whenever I create something, I put everything in my design layer. Once it's designed, then I put it in its own layer. Let me repeat that. To start, I put everything in the design layer. So I'm going to double click on this and simply call that design. Okay. Now I want to create a brand new layer. Double click, and we're going to call that shirt. Now, here's the important start. Some of you probably been very confused working with the layers. Layers in Photoshop do not work the same as layers in Illustrator. So right now I want to take this and move that into that layer. Well, how do I do that? Well, right now this is in the design layer. How do I know? Because if I was to hide this, it would actually hide everything that's in that layer. So in order to affect the shirt, I need to select the shirt. Hold down the Command key or Control key for Windows and select the object. Now I'm going to take the dot, which is represented by these blue dots here, and drag that into the shirt. Make a change, save a change. So right now if I hit the eye icon, it's going to hide the green leaf because that was in that layer. So make sure that you're inside the layer that you want to affect. In order to affect the layer, you need to select the layer. Now here's where it gets really, really cool. Okay, I want to make from this shirt, again, I want to make a t-shirt, I want to make a tank top, and I want to make a dress. So I'm going to take this and just move this up just a little bit. And I decided to hide this layer. I don't need to see that layer, so I'm going to hide the layer. Now, those particular guides were part of that layer. So if you want to use that, then you'll have to turn the layer back on. And if you do want to actually hide the object, I can unlock the object. Object, unlock. So lock, unlock selection. Okay. Now you have to be in the correct layer. Okay. So again, object, lock, unlock selection. Okay, so I want to hide it, Command 3, Control 3 for Windows. Okay, so I'm going to go back here to my shirt layer. So from this same shirt, I want to make a t-shirt, a tank top, and a dress. Simple, simple, simple. So I'm going to take the object, okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag that down, the layer down right here. It's going to make a clone copy. I do want a clone copy, but I don't want it to be identical copies, so I'm going to double click on that and I'm going to call that t-shirt. I'm going to take this one step at a time. Now, I don't want to affect the underlining shirt here, so I'm going to lock that into place. Again, I don't want to affect the underlining shirt, the one I created previously, so I'm going to lock that into place. Okay, and just because we can, I want to change the color of this. So I'm going to come up here to color, make sure your stroke, your fill is selected, and I'm just going to change this to a purple color. Okay, now this next step is really, really cool. Okay. Under the window menu, I'm going to bring up something called Pathfinder. Okay, so Pathfinder basically enables you to do a series of things that you couldn't typically do with Illustrator without the Pathfinder menu. So the first thing I want to do is cut off the sleeves. So here's how it works. I'm going to go to back to the elliptical tool, say that 5 times fast, and I'm just going to change the color just so I can see a contrast. And I'm going to basically create a circle where I want the sleeves to be cut. Right through here. Pretty cool so far. Okay. Now this isn't exactly in the center, so let's get that exactly in the center. Okay, so I'm going to select the object, go to the reflection tool that we used before to create the shirt, hit the O key, pick a point to reflect from and reflect over, holding down the Option key to make a clone copy and the Shift key to constrain it. Make sure you let go of your mouse hand first. Now, in order to select these objects, we need to in order to affect the objects, we need to select the objects. So select all, Command A, Control A for Windows. Based on these choices here, notice if I put my cursor here, I have all these different choices. Based on these choices, I want to divide the path. So right now the paths are divided. So by holding down the Command key, I can select through this, and I need to delete once, twice to delete those objects. I select through here, delete once, twice. Now notice that because I didn't move the other object to the center, it looks like it's slightly off, but we'll just go with that mistake. Make a change, save a change. How cool is that? Okay, now with our layer palette, which is really kind of cool, actually I'm going to take my layer palette and put it out here permanently. So if you want to dislodge the layer palette, and I'm going to take my color palette and move that out too, and hide back the colors. Okay, let's use that same technique to make a tank top. I'm going to take this, drag it down here, which makes a clone copy. Make sure I don't want to affect this bottom shirt, so I'm going to lock that shirt into place. I want to have it selected and change the color. I'll change the color to this yellow. In order to affect it, I need to select holding down the Command key. So again, if you don't select something, you're going to be very frustrated why something didn't happen. Holding down the Command key, select to effect, and change the color. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the elliptical tool again, and I'm just going to change it to a different color just so I can visually see. Okay, so the elliptical tool is selected. I'm going to change that to a pink color. Let's draw an ellipse from the center to drop down the neck for the tank top. Okay, pretty cool stuff. So in order to effect, I need to select Command A, select all, go back to the Pathfinder and divide the path. Now this gets a little bit tricky. I'm going to hold down the space bar and just drag this down a little bit so you can see it. So I'm going to hold down the Command key, select right through here, delete once, twice. Now why am I deleting twice? Because I need to select, see, let's understand something. If I have just part of the path selected and I delete once, it gets part of the path. Deleting twice gets the whole path. So that's what that was about. Okay, so now I have a tank top, and if I want to cut off the sleeves even further too, so let's do that. So I'm going to basically cut right here, go to the reflecting tool, pick a point to reflect from and reflect over, holding down the Option key, Alt key for Windows, and the Shift key to constrain it. In order to effect, I need to select all, Command A, anything about the selections onto the select menu, go to Pathfinder, select right through here, holding down the Command key, delete once, twice. Select right through here. Make sure you don't get this part of the shirt. I just want to get the arm. Select once, select twice. And how cool is that? So now let's create a tank top dress. This is a really powerful technique. So I'm going to take this, drag that down here. Now this is supposed to be called tank top and tank top dress. Make a change, save a change. Again, make sure when you do this technique, lock the previous one in place. Otherwise, you're going to affect it. I don't want to affect it. I just want to select it. So I'm going to select this and make it a pretty pink dress. Okay, now put on your thinking caps. I simply want to take this part down here and transform it into a dress. How would I do that? What tool do you think is going to transform it? Well, the answer simply would be a scale tool. Now keep in mind, I'm not selecting the whole object. I'm just selecting these anchor points at the bottom. So the anchor point selected, again, production technique from our first video. I held down the Command key, okay, because I'm in the direct selection tool. That's the first tool I initialize first. Once you select that tool, you never have to go back to it. Simply hold down the Command key. I select this. I'm going to hold down the space bar. Just move this up a little bit so you can see it. Go to the scale tool, pick a point to scale from the center, and scale down and scale out, and there's my dress. Now, very important step here. Now it's kind of looking like a child or maternity or a tent dress. So here's the technique here. If you want to basically have a little bit of hips or a little bit of waist area to your dress, I'm going to take the guides, I'm going to drag a guide down to right about there. Now the reason I drew a guide there, because that's where I want to put anchor points. So with this selected, hold down the Command key, I'm going to go to my pen tool and I'm going to add an anchor point right here. I'm going to add an anchor point right here. I'm sorry. My mistake on that. With the pen tool selected, make sure you're on the path itself. Now once you're on the path itself, you can add an anchor point. So notice, see it turns into a plus symbol. So once it's a plus symbol, you can add an anchor point here and add an anchor point there, but you have to have the plus symbol up here. Otherwise, it's not going to add an anchor point. As an example, if I'm on an anchor point, notice it turns into a minus tool and it delete an anchor point. Now, or I should say, correct vocabulary, remove an anchor point. Now again, part of the reason I put those anchor points there, because now I can move and transform and leave these two in place. Because they're not affected, because they're not selected. So I go back to my scale tool, I pick a point to scale from, and I scale down, and I scale out. So now my dress has a little bit of hip to it, and it doesn't look like a tent dress. So those are really powerful production techniques of how I can use transformation tools, working smart, anything about the objects under the object menu based on what you select. So this is a good ammunition to get you up and running. Didn't cost you a dime, but if you want to get really good at this, I highly suggest, I'm supporting you. Please support me and watch my videos and share this on social media, and also sign up for a premium account. That's the only way you're going to get good at this. Now let's not fool each other. If you think you're going to watch free videos on YouTube and learn a professional skill set, get real. Most YouTube videos for free are long-winded. They don't share with you production techniques. So you have respect for me, I will have respect for you. So share my free videos on social media, but more importantly, sign up and take a class. Do yourself a favor. My name is Robert Farrell. Thank you for being here. Carpe diem.